All right, episode two. What's going on, everybody? Back at it again for week two, Jay and Matt show, sports talk. Lots to touch base on this week, especially what's going around in both sports, MLB and NBA going on, especially with the trade deadline that's been going on recently right now. It's been very interesting. Um, we could also touch base on some ESPN layoffs, which has been a little crazy. Uh, been a little interesting. A lot of people that we lost I'm just like, damn, like I grew up with these people. So yeah, could definitely touch base more on the MLB and the All Stars coming up, and also their trade deadlines coming up as well. So yeah, let's get it going, man. So
Well,
how you
let's
been,
get
man?
to it. It's been good. Been a busy week in the NBA. So give me your thoughts on some of the Knicks moves, man. Well, obviously, Obi
Yeah,
gets dealt. That wasn't too surprising after all the rumors that were circulating about him and Tibbs during the playoffs. I mean, you kind of saw it coming.
right. Yeah, I mean, I guess they did hear. Maybe it was true about the audio, about him going crazy on Tibbs, kind of cursing him out a little bit. So I guess they gave him the boot. I mean. Obi Toppin, and we did get two future, I believe, first round picks from the Pacers. Yeah, but Obi Toppin, I mean, he didn't really live up to the potential that we thought he was when we drafted him. He only played 14 minutes per game as a Knick.
Was
Uh,
that? But is that was that Obi's problem or was that a problem of Tibbs?
I don't know. I mean, it could have been Obi's problem, really. I mean, we got some better players around him since he had got drafted. So yeah, it could have been Obi's problem because maybe, he didn't live up to that potential to when he got drafted. You're like, okay, maybe this could be the guy that be the starter, blah, blah, blah. So it could have been his issue, really. That's why he was always benched a lot. I mean, he did come off the bench pretty decently with us. He gave us some nice moments, and especially the alley oops. He's a dunk champion with us. So I mean, he gave us some of those. But best of luck for him. Hopefully he gets more minutes as an Indiana Pacer. Maybe he could prove us wrong. Well, we'll see. But
Yeah, man. For whatever reason, it just wasn't working out here. Trade him to the Pacers for two future second round picks. See what the Knicks organization can do with that. I liked Obi. I thought he was a good guy, good player, decent player. And like you said, hopefully he gets more minutes with the Pacers, show what he can do. Um, but I think the person that left that leaves Knicks fans a little bit more, a little sadder than Obi Toppin is the guy who was the Knicks' best player in the 2021 uh, postseason. Derrick Rose goes to the Memphis Grizzlies.
yeah, best of luck to him. Hopefully he still got it in the tank for him. Yeah, he's in Memphis, which is really interesting because, well, he did play in college there. He went to Memphis there,
I
so
think this was the right move for him.
right, yeah. Not only that, he feels right at home already because he went to school there, but also he could definitely teach John Morant. So a little bit of discipline, get on the right track. I'm pretty sure if D Rose was in John Morant's shoes, he'll definitely be part of that. He wished he could be in his shoes, at that age that he was in before the injuries, and just tell him, hey, you got a bright future, don't mess this up, blah, blah, blah. So he could be like his teacher a little bit.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
you got to think he's starting those first 25 games, right?
Right. You have to think that, yeah, too. So, like, I wonder how that's going to work out as well. Maybe he will start there. You never know. You could always have a good veteran there, more experienced person. So, I hope for the best for him. He has 2 years with them. So maybe he'll retire there. Who knows? But we're going to
Yeah.
miss him. He's a great guy.
He signs a 2-year, $6.5 million contract. And this was after the Knicks declined his player option where he would have made about $15 million this year with the Knicks. So definitely a pay decrease, but he's going to a contender, a team that can make a deep run in the playoffs as long as John Morant gets his act together. Um, and, wish him the best of luck. As we talked about last week, he came to the Knicks um, in that 2021 season. Um, Obviously had that stint here with Carmelo and Porzingis that one season where he wore the number 25 instead of 4. Um, and the Knicks get swept against the Hawks if it's not for Derrick Rose in the 2021 playoffs. Um, Julius Randle said recently that he wished Rose got more playing time in the most recent playoffs. Obviously, we know that Tibbs um, made him more of a, kind of like a player coach in a sense for his last season with the Knicks. Didn't get much playing time post January of 2023. And only when the Knicks were really blowing out teams, obviously, and the crowd started chanting Derrick Rose, Tibbs would put him in. So I wish him the best of luck. He's gonna get more playing time in Memphis than he was gonna get with the Knicks. So uh, Derrick Rose will always have game 2 of the 2021 first round of the playoffs against the Hawks that we can look back on his Knicks tenure and look back at that game and say, hey, that was his Knicks moment right there.
Right, I believe so. Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, I know. Outside of like D Rose and Obi situation, we did get a player. We did
We
get a player in
did.
this.
We
Yeah, from
signed
Golden State
Dante
Warriors.
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, it's basically the Villanova Knicks. Basically, we got Josh
Yeah,
Hart, Brunson, and Deion. Those three guys. They were part of that Villanova championship team. So yeah, hopefully they build up more good chemistry that they did when they were in Nova. I feel like they're more comfortable together, especially for Jalen Brunson. He has his buddies with him. So he did really good with Josh Hart. So hopefully with this guy, he's pretty good. He is an NBA champion as well. He won a championship in Milwaukee. He's a pretty good role player from what I've seen. Not a big star player, not a big stat guy, but he will get where you want, and it's a good fit for us. He's a Tibbs guy, that's from what I've seen.
yeah,
But yeah, hopefully with this guy, we can't depend on one player, obviously, but hopefully he could build us up better. I think he. A lot of people say he is better than Obi, and is a good fit for us. So hope
yep,
for the best. I think this upcoming season is just gonna be really well. So let's keep it going.
yeah. 4-year, $50 million deal. Um, so something that the Knicks seem to be doing is they don't want to overpay guys. That they're not going after these big names. Obviously there's the rumors about Harden and Paul George. But I have a feeling they're not going to be 100% in on those. Um, it's just I think they're valuing building what they have and not going too crazy, if that makes sense. Whether the fans agree or not, around that. How do you feel about them trying to um, perhaps not spend as much as fans would want them?
Well, I do agree with New York. I mean, New York is like that all the time. I mean, think of it as back then, all these big name trade deadlines that we could have gotten, such as like LeBron or possibly, especially in 2019 when we could have definitely gotten Kyrie, KD, Zion. The Knicks are not that type of team to just get these big star players because they know that these type of players are gonna ask for a lot of money. I mean, think of it this trade deadline right now. Everyone's getting paid big money. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like they're not even that big of a star players, but they're getting paid like crazy. And I don't think the Knicks are that type of team to do that. Um, you know, they they're very I don't know how to say it, but like they do get good players, but not big star type of players. For us, is Jalen Brunson. That's our big type of name player.
And
Yeah.
hey,
So
he lived up to that contract. I mean,
of course,
a lot of people said that the Knicks overpaid Jalen Brunson. And look at what he did.
yeah, yeah, exactly. With the very first season, and a lot of people agree now that that was like the best trade in like NBA history. That's what I've read up on ESPN.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, him and Carmelo Anthony are the only Knicks, um, with like more than 8 straight playoff games with 20 or more points.
Yeah,
Like, so it's crazy. And just real quick, to talk more about DiVincenzo, last season, he averaged 9.4 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, going 43.5% from the field. Um, don't think he's going to be a valuable asset off the bench.
that's correct. I would
Um,
say I would agree with that, but yeah, but think about the teams that he had played for. He was playing with the Bucks. I mean, you already have your starting five right there.
yeah.
And then he went on to go play with Golden State. That's another one. So maybe with New York, he has a good chance to maybe sometimes be in the starting position, depending on how well he plays. So
Yeah, you don't think Tibbs is going to stick with Grimes
see, that's another one too.
or
That's
quickly?
that's also basically competition at this point. Let's see who is the better starter, who could be the better shooter. Just trying to impress Tibbs basically, and we'll see. And they're both good players, so I want to be, I wouldn't mind either or. Really.
Do you think this season is a make or break season for Tibbs?
I would agree.
Do you think he
Um,
needs to get to the Eastern Conference Final to survive? Do you think if he makes to the second round and loses again, he might be out, or do you think second round is good enough for another year?
I mean, I would agree. I felt like last year, I'm not trying to be biased or anything. I just feel like we definitely should have made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. We had the potential. It was just more of shooting issues from the perimeter. Definitely defense, and I just feel like that's the biggest impact that Tibbs needs to create again is defense. I mean, in 2021, we had a defense. We were like one of the number one defenses in the
Oh, that
league.
was that was a great defense.
Exactly. And I just felt like Tibbs needs to improve that a lot. Like that's his go-to, like defense, defense, defense. This season, I just want defense, really. Definitely shooting from the perimeter. That's the only two issues that I feel like we need for this season. And especially like last year, I mean, we blew a lot of leads last year, because of our defense. And I always think about that Luka Doncic game when he scored 60. We were up that whole game, and he
Yeah.
took us because of our defense. And same thing with Miami. We were letting them shoot so many threes. It's like crazy. And, so I just feel like this is, this is it for him. Like, I feel like he needs to improve for us to make a deep playoff run. And if not, I don't know. Maybe there could be talks of letting him go or not, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but I just feel like he needs improvement for what he needs to
Yeah.
do with his team.
Yeah, well, now, as you said, he got the Villanova kids. Speaking of the Villanova kids, Josh Hart also opted into his player option with the Knicks, which is almost $13 million, 12.96, which would mean that he is more than likely going to be extended by the New York Knicks and be here for the for the near, the next few years. Um, him and Josh Hart. I'm assuming he'll be here as long as Josh Hart is here. Um, which is around the same amount of time as Dante DiVincenzo is going to be here. So I think those three are going to be next for the next 4 seasons together. As long, we'll see what the Josh Hart extension looks like. But how do you feel about Josh Hart being extended? Because they went on that crazy winning streak after the trade deadline when he got here. So it really seemed like he brought a different type of energy to this team. Granted, in the playoffs, he was playing 48 minutes per game for a while there, and things got a little sloppy defensively. Um, but he did help the team, get to where they were. He did help them get to Game 6 of the second round of the playoffs. So, what are your thoughts on Josh Hart coming back and most likely getting extended?
I think Josh Hart is a great role player, really. He's another good role player. He doesn't care. Basically, what I mean by that is, I remember when we were in the playoffs, he was mic'd up, and he was telling Tim, "I don't care if I play 50 minutes." And I just feel like we need more players like that in
Yeah,
this league because this guy just doesn't care. He'll play until his legs fall off, and I love his mentality.
and Tibbs
And New
will
York,
do that.
yeah, he doesn't care. And
Yeah,
he's another person. We'll give him a minute. He gave Jalen Brunson like almost 50 minutes in Game 5. But no, yeah, he's a great rebounder too. Especially for his size. He plays good. He does play good defense, I feel like, as well. Shooting wise, he's not bad. Yeah, he's the. I think New York's a great fit for him. He fits well for it. He doesn't mind the New York media really that gets to him. And yeah, yeah, overall, I'm happy with it. I really am. I feel like Jalen Brunson's definitely comfortable with him. That's his buddy. And ever since then, they've been having great chemistry together. So hopefully this continues on and especially excuse me, more improvement.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I like Josh Hart. I think he's a good fit for the team. I think he works well under Tibbs's game plans. I think defensively he works well with Tibbs. Obviously, him and Jalen Brunson have good chemistry together when they're on the floor together. So I think it's a good move to bring him back, see what he can do on a full season here. Um, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he does next season.
Yeah, I agree. Also, speaking of New York, Julius Randle actually cut his hair. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he has basically a buzz cut at this point. Yeah, he cut it
Wow.
over. Yeah, I saw a picture on Twitter actually about that. But he actually
Wow.
did cut his hair. Maybe with his new haircut, you never know. Maybe he'll play much better. I don't know.
It's
Shooting
an
well.
interesting case of Julius Randle, man. He's such an interesting player the past few seasons with the Knicks. Um, Obviously an all NBA player, an all-star. But then, the two playoffs he was in with the Knicks left a lot to be desired. Um, so hopefully he can work on that um, obviously there's no guarantee that the Knicks make it back to the playoffs. Obviously the expectation is that they're back in the playoffs. And hopefully Randall performs. He's got to perform in those situations. He can't fizzle out. He's gotta be regular season Julius Randle in the playoffs. That's what he's gotta be.
Yeah, that's correct. I do agree with that. Yeah. So not sure if the Knicks are gonna pursue any more in the trade deadline. We'll see. Maybe I don't know. Definitely. I feel like they're definitely not gonna spend a lot more money. I think this might be the current roster that we have. So we'll see how this month pays out. Speaking of this NBA draft, besides the Knicks, I mean, wow, so much happened already this week. A lot of players got big money, like I said before.
Yeah, man.
And a lot of people re-signed too. A lot of people stayed with their teams. So yeah, and speaking of too, like Damian Lillard, he's definitely most likely be out and going to Miami. We'll see.
I hear
I know
Utah's
Philly,
interested too.
correct. I know Philly would want him, but I just don't think he is interested there, especially in Brooklyn. So it's kind of like between Brooklyn or Miami, but I do think he wants to go to Miami. That's what he says. It will be a good fit for him there, especially that Miami lost two players. They lost Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, and so they both got paid. And so yeah, I just feel like that would be a good fit for him, especially Jimmy Butler got some help
Yeah.
shooting. We got a point guard for him, and then of course, you got Bam Adebayo. So yeah, the East Coast might be a little tough for us as well. We can never get away from Miami, especially when we're doing good, and then they start doing good. It all brings back to 2010 to the 2012 seasons, the Big Three. So it's kind of like a little
Yeah.
deja. So we'll see how that goes. We definitely have a good rivalry with them. Um, so yeah, I'll be happy for Dame though, because I really do like Damian Lillard. And if he was the champion, I wouldn't mind that at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Dame is a guy who's been prided on his loyalty, right? He's been with Portland his whole career. It would be weird to see him in another jersey, but at the end of the day, I think he's thinking about his legacy. And, um, he wants that championship. And, Miami is obviously a team that made it to the finals and, um, maybe he's thinking, hey, if I was there, maybe they win. Maybe they win that championship. Um, so I think he's, if he does go to Miami, I think it's not a bad fit for him. I think, it is a good spot for him to try to win a championship. but other teams will be trying, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up landing.
Yeah, I agree with that. You never know. He might pick another team that we don't think of. Boom, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I love the NBA trade deadline. It's crazy. It always gets intense, especially around this time of the month. So yeah, I feel like it's been great with this trade deadline. Um, yeah. So speaking of, Dylan Brooks actually went on an NBA team, which is very interesting. He got 4 years with the Houston Rockets. They paid him a lot of money. I mean, Houston Rockets is paying a lot. They paid Fred VanVleet so much money. They paid him more than a lot of like big star players as well. And now they signed Dylan Brooks. So I'm not sure what they're trying to do with this. They just like go ahead and spend money. I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are surprised that Dylan Brooks is on a team. Despite what happened this past postseason with a lot of trash talking that he did not back up. I mean, he is on a trash team, so there you go. The Shanghai Sharks guys dodged the bullet.
Well, the other Texas team decided to run it back with Luca and Kyrie Irving. So,
That was interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Despite of Luca of not having really good chemistry with him, he did say himself that he does miss Jalen Brunson. And last season when they were going really bad with their losing streak, and they gave him like 3 years, I believe, too. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I don't know what Mark Cuban was trying to think. Maybe he believes in second chances, which he does. So, best of luck to Dallas. If I'm a Dallas fan, I wouldn't be too happy. I feel like he just has a lot to improve, and such as like consistency. So we'll see how that goes for him.
yep. And before we move into baseball, I think we should just want to mention that a follow-up to our Zion story last week.
Oh God,
Uh,
yeah.
Mariah Mills, the porn star who has been exposing Zion, who has been getting a tattoo of his name on her cheek, who has been posting countlessly about him, has shared a positive pregnancy test. So I assume she is claiming that Zion is the father, and it will be interesting to see how this crazy mess continues to unfold.
Yeah, so yeah, basically now he technically has 2 kids. We're not sure how true that is, if he really is the dad. But Zion's having a busy off season, off the court, really.
Knicks dodged two bullets.
2 bullets, yeah, especially in the 29. Sorry, yeah, 2019, 20, yeah,
Yeah,
that draft.
2019 draft.
RJ Barrett. Hopefully he doesn't fall in these guys' footsteps. John Moran, Zion. Yeah, man, I feel bad for Zion though. He hasn't really lived up to the potential. Now he's going, especially with the injuries and everything, and now he's going through this in the off season. So hopefully he, blocks that while he's on the court. So we'll see how that goes. For him. I feel bad for the guy, especially with her. She's pretty annoying to this guy. He's trying to ruin his life, his career. It's just not fair to them. I mean, like he's not doing anything at all. He's not talking back to her, things like that, trying to expose her or whatever. But like I said, I just feel bad for this guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just a terrible situation for him. It's just I have no other things to say. It's just I agree with. But moving on to baseball,
Oh God, yeah, that sport.
something historic happened this past week.
Ah,
Um, the first time since 2012, the 24th time in Major League Baseball history, and the fourth time in Yankee history, a perfect game was thrown.
oh yeah, the guy that did the sticky substance. Oh, I mean, yeah, Domingo German. Ooh, sorry.
Domingo Germán, who has been suspended twice by Major League Baseball. One for domestic violence against his then girlfriend, now wife, and once for using having a sticky substance of some sort. That him and I believe the Yankees claim was rosin, but um, umpires claim was stickier than rosin. So he pitched a perfect game against the Oakland A's or the Oakland Athletics. 27 players went to the plate. All 27 of them did not reach first base. Um, an amazing feat. Yeah, I have my feelings about the pitcher who did it. Personally, I would prefer him not to be on the Yankees, but I can also recognize that um, it's historic, and I never thought that I would see, a Yankee perfect game. And all I'll say is that the last three times the Yankee has pitched a perfect game, the Yankees have gone on to win the World Series. So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Thanks to Tampa Bay, that will answer questions for me. Yeah, I know I'm a biased person. I always hate on the Yankees and stuff like that. But yeah, congratulations to this guy, even though it was against the Oakland A's. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, nah, he did good that game. He pitched well. That was his day. He woke up on the right side of the bed that day, and it was great for him. What I have read up on as well, after that, he had lost a family member. So,
Yeah,
like
his
2 days
uncle his uncle
after,
passed away 2 days before the game. He said he was crying a lot about it the day before the game. So he dedicated the performance to his uncle.
yeah, I felt bad for him for that. So I congratulate him with that. And they also reminded me of Dwight Gooden, who was also a Yankee at that time, who threw a no hitter, and I just lost his dad. That same day, he threw that no hitter. So that kind of reminded me of that a little bit. It was like a lot of similarities going on. So yeah, I guess like history repeats itself kind of moment. But happy for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and not only that, Kyle Higashioka joins an elite crew of catchers who have caught multiple no hitters. He caught Corey Kluber's no hitter in 2021, and now he catches Domingo Germán's perfect game in 2023. So, congrats to Kyle Higashioka as well on that. Who's been in the Yankee organization since 2008. Didn't make his major league debut though until I believe 2017. Um, but he's been with the Yankee organization since before their last World Series. So congrats to Kyle Higashioka as well.
yeah, that's good for him too. Wow, I did not know that actually. I did not know he was been in the league for so long. With the Yankee organization. So yeah, good for him. Speaking of, got 10 minutes. All right, we got 10 minutes.
Talk
But yeah,
ran about the Mets. Go all Frank the Tank on the Mets. Like I can't wait to hear this.
whoo, have they been bad? They've been really bad to watch. Steve Cohen. Oh man, this team. What a disaster. Yeah, this team has been really, like I said from the last episode, just hard to watch. They're just weird, very inconsistent. When they do pitch, they can't hit. When they can hit, they don't pitch. And this bullpen has just been a disaster. What I have seen, I have not seen in a long time at Citi Field is the paper bags being put on people, the Mets fans' hands and heads. I'm sorry, which
That's
is
starting again.
yeah, I saw that the other day when we were playing the Giants. So yeah, that's how you know this season's really been bad when you see paper bags on Mets fans' heads.
Let me
They
ask you
just
this. Was the first 150 games of last season a fluke?
I can't say that. I just felt like we just had great chemistry, better pitching, better bullpen. I felt like last season we just lacked of power hitting. I just feel like to this day we still don't have a DH, catchers as well. We do have Francisco Alvarez, but he's still got a lot to improve. He's a young kid. I just feel like also with this season we haven't been putting our prospects more in the lineup, and they've been improving a lot. They've been impressive since they came to the league. Mark Vientos, for some reason, he went back down to the minors. Don't know why, but Showalter just doesn't want to play him. So yeah, I have no
Let
idea.
me ask you this: is Buck gone after this year?
Whew, good question. Not sure. I know Steve Cohen did do a press conference this past week, and he's definitely not happy. He said with the team. He said there's going to be a lot of improvements that he wants to do. This, with Buck Showalter, I'm not sure. I'm not. I feel like Billy Epler might be on the hot seat, or GM. He could be on the hot seat. Possibly Buck Showalter too. Coming off a 100-win season last season, and he's not
Fizzled out at the end.
right. And he's Buck Showalter's like, oh, I wouldn't bet on these guys. And then he's also saying I'm proud of these guys. It's just at this point he's just trying to get fired. I guess I don't know. So he could be on the hot seat as well. I'm not sure what Cohen would do next season because I know we're not going to make the playoffs. So yeah, we don't know. Uh, I personally believe he might be on the hot seat as far as Billy Epler because I know Cohen wants to win. He's all win mode.
Yeah.
He knows how the Mets fans feel. He grew up as a Mets fan, so I think he wants to start changing real quick, especially in the offseason. I know he definitely doesn't like what he's seeing right now. So yeah, so this has have been it was a bad June. We were like second to last, I believe, and wins in June. We didn't even win a playoff series. I'm sorry, and I think I just said playoff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know what
Uh,
you meant. Regular
uh,
series.
yeah, regular series, yeah. Um, yeah. So the A's did better than us in June. That's very embarrassing. Which they have the worst record in the MLB. So that says a lot. What this
They
Mets
just
team is.
they just were on the other end of a perfect game.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of baseball, we're in July and the All Star game is coming up. I
No
do
Mets All
have
Stars, right?
I don't think so. I think they were trying to get Lindor in, but he didn't make it. He was in the finalists. I knew he wasn't going to make that. But
Aaron
he could be.
Judge is an
He
All
could
Star.
for some reason, even though he's been hurt half the time. But it is what it is. I do have my lineup that I had created when MLB said create your own lineup, do the
Yeah.
voting.
As,
Most of
as
them.
you as you pull that up, I just want to say, speaking of All Stars, Shohei Ohtani um, is on pace for 58 home runs this season.
Oh,
Uh,
that guy's. Um,
he's
so here,
insane.
yeah. So here it is, right here. This is my lineup that I had created. Most of these guys are in, and I was very happy that I got most of these right. And I got Yandy Diaz there. I think he's in. Yeah, I believe he's in. I did have Aaron Judge here actually. Wow. I
Yeah, because he
did put it.
deserved it, man. Like when he's healthy, he was on
Yeah,
a rampant pace, man.
I did play Aaron Judge here. Yeah, wow. Well, then again, his stats, even when he was hurt, his stats still have better stats than some of these active players right now.
He was gonna rival 60 again if he didn't run into a freaking concrete slab at Dodger Stadium.
Right, just risked his whole toe there, or whatever he had going on. Yeah, I do have a lot of Braves players. Yeah, sorry, Mets fans. I mean, Braves have been doing great. Can't lie. I also have a lot of Texas Rangers players as well. I mean, they have a great season too, in my opinion. They have great stats going on. Corey Seager's been booming. Marcus Semien. And I got Josh Jung. Very big improvement for what he's been doing this year. And I have Jonah Heim as well. It's a great. Yeah. So I know a lot of people might say, "Oh, why you don't have Mike Trout there?" I believe Jordan Alvarez does have better stats. I checked. He has a better OPS and I just had to put him in. I know he is the starter that they announced for Mike Trout, so yeah, good for him. And Mike Trout's Mike Trout,
An
and
all-time
of
great
course,
baseball player.
yeah. So who do you think stands out really in this lineup? Because most of these guys are in. For me, I would say Luis Arias. I mean, he's been phenomenal. He's been very consistent, batting like almost 400
I
still.
mean, dude's insane.
Correct. Yeah, I believe that as well. I do like this Corbin Carroll. He's also a rookie. So hopefully a bright future for him going on for his rest of his career. And of course Shohei, amazing. And yeah, those are those players that really stand out for me. That's surprising to me.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Yeah, I mean, good job. You got them. You got a lot of them who are on the actual All-Star team. Not gonna lie, I do kind of agree with you. I was a little surprised that Aaron Judge did make it as a starter, considering he has been injured for quite a bit of a time. Um, but the Yankee fan base is also very big, so that probably had a role to play into it.
And not just Yankee fans. I mean, there's a lot of people out there like cross country who are just big Aaron Judge fans as well.
Yeah, especially after last season.
Yeah, I believe that too. So yeah, I'm excited for the All Star game. I'm always excited for it, especially with home run derby. I always liked All Star break, especially with the celebrity softball
Your boy,
game.
your boy can't win the home run derby this year.
Yeah, he's won two under his belt. I'll take it. Not a lot of players are able to do that. So I wish he could do it. He tried last year, just didn't make it. He was really close, but no cigar. But I'm excited. They haven't really announced that many players as of right now, to make the home run derby. I think they only have two. I forget which ones were from the top of my head. But yeah, I hope Shohei does it as well. I hope he gives it another crack at it. And if he does, I think he'll probably most likely win that one.
He should, man. Dude's insane this year. Dude's insane.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's all I have for baseball as of right now. We'll get in touch with the All Star break more a little bit. I know we're gonna definitely talk about the All Star game and home run derby in the next few days, when it comes up, and definitely talk about the trade deadline for baseball. Those get crazy as well.
Yeah.
Right? If anything, with the basketball as well, we'll definitely talk more on that. I know Eric Gordon that just got announced that he is expected to be a Phoenix Sun, so
Wow.
Phoenix
Okay.
Suns.
Phoenix making moves.
Yeah, they are. So they're very impressive. They're trying to be all in as contenders again. So hopefully they stay healthy as well, especially with KD. He always gets hurt. He does have injury issues, but they stay healthy. They could be a really interesting team to watch. So yeah, that's all I have. Anything for you, Matt?
No, man. I think we covered some good things today. Look forward to speaking to you next week about possibly some more moves in the NBA and seeing what happens with baseball.
Yeah, and also NFL too. Many training camp starts soon in a few weeks as well this month.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot to touch up on in July. So can't wait for that. And yeah, that's all I have. And there we have it. See you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
See ya.